Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Dan.
This is Board Game Rundown, and we are at Gen Con. We want to talk about some of the things real quick, just a brief overview of things we've seen, maybe played, that we're excited about, and have been super awesome. Dan.
Yeah.
What's been good, man?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
See you next time.
Thanks for being here.
No, so honestly, the two biggest things that have been a surprise for me. So first of all, I'm not going to go too into things here because we're going to have individual videos on all the important things we want to talk about, good or bad. So just some basic highlights, though. My two biggest ones I'm really excited about because I didn't even know they were going to be here. I didn't know anything about them beforehand, and when I went through all the list of BGG, they didn't stick out to me just from the name and picture, right?
Sure.
And the first one was Loot. It's at the Hachette booth. I think it's Giga Mike.
Yes.
I'm looking off camera. Gigamic.
Or Gigabyte.
Yeah. Or Gigamis or whatever Mike said.
That's what happens when Mike Rice, he merges with another host.
Yes.
And it becomes Giga Mike.
Yeah, it's like Voltron.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah. But that's like a game where you're taking actions out on a board to take resources back to your own board, and you're kind of building everything out. So you have trees and animals and axes and all these things that you're building out on a board to try to score as many points as possible. I was really impressed with it. You got an interesting puzzle you're building over here, and an interesting action selection puzzle almost, or because you can only put your people either next to water or next to other workers. And so having to game that to get what you want, I was very impressed with that. And then the sequel to Turing Machine came out here.
Dude.
Had no idea that was coming. Chronologic, where it's kind of like the mechanics of Turing Machine, but with the theme of Clue. And you're trying to figure out who did it in what room, what did they do, depending on what scenario you play, of course. I love Turing Machine. It was great. I talked more about it in the other video, but those, I think, were the two biggest surprises of just like, man, that was good.
Oh, sure. So An Age Contrived was one that I knew nothing about coming to the show. And then seeing it and getting to mess with their pitch guy, right? That's at the table, and then actually signing up for a demo and getting into that booth and playing. It has some really unique action selection and the way you spend energy. Very cool. We're gonna have a whole video on it because most of us were pretty impressed with it, or enough of us were definitely impressed with it.
Well, and whether or not, regardless of how we feel, enough of us have played it that we can give a lot of opinions anyway.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, and I think there'll be a lot of opinions.
Yeah.
But really interesting and unique theme and style game.
I was able to late sign up to that one, and I was very happy that I was able to make it because I didn't know anything about it either. I was very impressed. I like the way they use the magnets and everything. Cool game.
Yeah, you'll see it. We'll have a video on it. Table presence through the roof. I was excited to see our friends over at Dead Alive Games. So they did Lunar Rush, Omicron Protocol. We did videos for them for Cyber Pet Quest. I just scooped up a finished copy, so now I can actually see the whole thing outside of the of just the old prototype that we had. So I already know I like this game, unless for some reason the third or fourth scenario that we didn't get to play is all of a sudden the game turns completely different. It's really bad. Doubt that's going to happen. But I was very excited to see that. Really pumped for that. Man, so many things.
Yeah, there's some middling things, right? So I was able to play Arcs, and it's good. This is first impressions. It was good. The couple aspects of the game I was most excited about fell a little flat, but the rest of the game was still good enough that I enjoyed it and I want to play it again. I would even say it was a good game. I think that the hype is a little crazy, and I need to get some more time under my belt for that.
The hype is nuts. What'd you think of Charcuterie? Because we played all that. We played that together.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I played Charcuterie a lot. Yeah, it's still a fun game. The event was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty
I wasn't
cool.
Sure how that event was going to go. I don't go to events. That's not me.
Me neither.
But it was like, hey, you're invited and you're paid for. And I was just like, okay. And I went. I wasn't sure if I was going to stay the whole time, and I did because it was just a really fun time. That environment, they brought out, it's a charcuterie game, right? And they brought all the games out in...
they had the...
Cloche. I kept wanting to say Kolosh. Yeah, the Cloche.
They were wearing
and that's how we don't
That's how classy we are.
Yeah. But yeah, they brought them out in cloches and revealed the game and everything. It was such a fun, cool event.
And then I was able to see and play a little bit of Canvas Critters, which is from Katia Howitson and Michael Giuliano. And that game looks really neat because Katia, if you know, she does the mosaic calendars that are amazing, and she creates all those mosaics using board game bits. So in this game, really, we don't have one yet, so I'll talk like this much more about it. Basically, what you're doing is you're going to get a theme, and then everybody's going to grab mosaic pieces to then create on their board whatever they want to try to represent that. And it's a really, really cool game. Looks to be very accessible and like low rules overhead with just a lot of fun and some crazy replayability that you can do with it.
Sure. A couple small things is, first of all, I beat Bob in a game of Magic the Gathering. It's on camera now. And then we played a little game called Duck and Cover.
Oh, dude.
Which
yes.
It's one of those, it's a party game, you know, you have to be ready for that. I tend to be Dan doesn't like fun because he doesn't like playing 5-minute little games where it's ducks. It was fun. I like spatial games. They made a quick little party game that's spatial where cards are being revealed and all your cards are numbered. And so if a 12 is revealed, you have to take your 12 card and either duck or cover it. Right? Well, the cover is it covering, but you get what I'm saying. But yeah, so it either covers another card or it ducks under the water, and that means that you can basically teleport the card anywhere else. And the point is all the cards have little values on them, and you want as few points as possible in the game. So you put your 1 on top of your 4, that was -3 points for you, right? Just a really fun little party game, Duck and Cover, yeah.
So I played a game called Murray is an Asshole last night.
Okay.
And it is super fun. So it's the same folks that do Cosmic Frog, and you've got cards in your hand. They're numbers, they're suits, basically, and they're because they're all different types of flies. Murray is a frog. So you're playing these suits down in front of you in your pond, and you're like, sweet, yay, I'm gonna get points for that. And then if you draw a Murray card, well, he's an asshole. So he goes and he eats one of somebody's stack of their swarm, and but then he leaves a tadpole behind, which is a multiplier for points. So the more tadpoles you have, the more points you can get. But anyways, you go through the deck a couple times. The theme is hilarious, and just a fun kind of little take that as you're trying to set collect, and other people are trying to mess up your sets. But really straightforward and really fun.
Yeah, my only other thing, well, maybe I'll end on something else afterwards. We'll see what I think of. But because, we're naming all these positive things, I wanted to name a kind of negative thing. Let's get some of the talking out, right? Well, so Bob and I did try Star Trek Captain's Chair, and we were both a little underwhelmed, unfortunately.
Okay.
A lot of the mechanics are good. The theme is awesome. And of course, again, first impressions, who knows how many things we messed up. Luckily, we were kind of half taught by David Turksey himself, so a lot of the rules were probably right. But, people make mistakes. We accidentally shuffled a card to our deck, and this happens, who knows. But there was just, I don't know, there's a lot of weird stuff going on where, first of all, I was a very peaceful character, and Bob was a very aggressive character, so it did feel like we weren't a very well-matched thing, because, every time I would do something, he would literally instantly counter it. Okay, I finally built my ship. Oh, Bob destroyed my ship and then also did other actions. Oh, okay, I guess I'll send this away team to this planet. Oh, Bob just killed my away team and did other actions. And I'm just like, what? I'm literally not playing the game for a lot of it. And I was brand new. Who knows? I was making subpar decisions. It happens. But I don't know. We were both just kind of lukewarm on it after that. And it was sad because that was one of my most looking forward to games. It was in my 10 video that I made. It's David Turksey and Nigel Buckle, WizKids. He described it as the mechanisms of he wants the feeling of a Euro with the mechanisms of a deck builder, and he wants it to play like Magic the Gathering. He combined those three things. That's how David Turksey combined it. And I was like, interesting. And I'll say, I can see why he explains it that way. There's definitely a lot of on Bob's turn. He was like, okay, I spend this to tap this card, which does this, and I'll play this, spend an action to tap this. There was definitely that going on.
And these.
I don't know if you can hear the voice over the hall, but I'm going to ramp for a second and just talk about how nothing's happening. So yeah, I'm not going to hate on the game. It might be really good and it was just a bad play, but I just wanted to say it's not all roses.
Sure.
When you're at something like this, you try something and you're like, that didn't hit the way I hoped it would. Let's move on to the next game, So that happens.
I'll just mention a few things that I bought. I haven't played, but I'm excited about. So Comic Hunters, I have played technically. It's finally out. If you're not at Gen Con, don't sweat. You can buy it at big box stores. You'll be able to find it in your game stores and stuff like that. And it's very reasonably priced. So I'm a big fan of it. We call it drafting the game sometimes because it's all just drafting. But Comic Hunters, check it out. Gnome Hollow, haven't played yet, but very excited. There's a copy sitting at home waiting for us to get there to play it because it showed up right after we left for Gen Con. And Weirdwood Manor, I point that way because their neighbor is right over there.
Yeah.
That's one. It's got a really unique rotating player board. It's got like different segments that move, and it's got asymmetric players. It's co-op and stuff like that. Great art, really cool looking. I got Necromolds. Have you heard of Necromolds?
No.
So Necromolds, you literally, you get clay, spell clay, and you get a spell book, and you put the clay in the spell book, you smoosh it down, and you've made your guy. And now when you have your wizard signet ring, right?
Okay.
So you build your army of your clay figures. So somebody's green and somebody's pink or whatever colors you have. I kill your dude, I get to mash him down with my signet ring, and it leaves a new looking thing because it's a signet ring.
Right.
So it leaves a thing, and now that is terrain that's in the way.
Oh,
so as you
okay.
are killing the other people's stuff, you're littering the battlefield with terrain now that's got to be maneuvered around
Sure.
and everything.
That's an interesting idea.
And you can, and again, so when you're done, you just put all the clay back in the jars,
Right.
and you can like, there's all kinds of extra stuff. I didn't get anything extra for it, but I just want to mess with it. But I mean, you could just play with it, or you could actually play the game. Looks really cool, and I'm excited about that. So
Yeah, it's good thing you brought that up. Yeah, I'll add on some positives. I picked up Chronologic,
Yes.
Paris 1920. Very impressed. Sequel of Turing Machine. We'll talk about it in our other video. I picked up the expansion to War of the Ring, a game
Yes.
we've done in the past, and I think maybe our best thumbnail on our channel. The Sword of the West it makes everything better. And then there was something else I picked up, but I can't remember.
Con Brain, man, with
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah.
We're almost done.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool.
And I'm sad, but I'm also like going to be really happy to be home.
I didn't pick anything up, but you might be seeing a Monster Hunter World video not too
dude.
far in the future.
Dude, so excited about that.
Yeah.
So excited. Looking forward to that. Dan is our Steam Forge Games advocate.
I
'Cause
am.
he understands the mechanics.
Yes, I play a lot of their games. I like what they do. Are their games perfect? No. Are they perfect, like, adaptions?
Representations? Yeah.
Yeah. I say yes. They do a fantastic job. So, but yeah, that's a couple things that I have in my bags.
Right on, man. Well, we're going to let you go. We'll let you go check out those other videos that we've made about all the stuff we talked about.
Yeah, click all those links.
All of the links. Thank you so much for watching. For the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
I've been Dan. And you can say the title's only 3 words.